India Talk with number one India News every Sunday at 6 p.m. on number one India News.
Hello viewers, I am Jaidev Patel and you are watching number one India News. Welcome once again India Talk with number one India News. We have a special guest with us today, economist Mr. Professor Kumar. Professor Kumar, you are very welcome to our program today.
Thank you.
Professor Kumar, my first question to you is that in which direction is the current economy of India moving?
See, there are a lot of uncertainties about the Indian economy.
Yeah.
They are external as well as internal. Externally, we are seeing war in Ukraine is persisting. There's a new war in Gaza where Israel is attacking very seriously. There are a lot of problems with the West Asian countries. They're not liking it, and if it spreads, because USA is attacked, in Syria, in Iraq, maybe the Iranians may get involved in it. It could spread to a wider conflagration and could lead to supply bottlenecks, especially of petroleum goods and so on. Then in the US, the interest rates have risen, so capital can go out of India, what was coming in, causing some decline in the value of the rupee. Some balance of payment issues may crop up. So we haven't quite recovered from all these problems that are there from the external front. It will affect our exports also. Internally, we have severe problems because inflation has been quite high. It has not come to the 4% level that the RBI wanted and keeps going up and down. We've seen paddy prices, wheat prices going up. We've seen vegetable prices shooting up. This affects the poor people a lot because the poor people have a large amount of food consumption in their basket, so their purchasing power goes down. Then the unorganized sector is not doing very well. Just like agriculture is not doing well, the unorganized sector is not doing very well. So 94% of the workforce works in the unorganized sector. So they're facing problem of unemployment on the one side and the problem of high inflation, which reduces their purchasing power. So the organized sector is doing well, but the unorganized sector is not doing well. So therefore, the problem is that the rate of growth of the economy is not 6 or 7%, but more like 1%, if you include the unorganized sector. So the economy is not growing very well. So the average, if you take from 2019 to the current year, the average rate of growth is only 3.5%. Of course, there was a pandemic in between which affected the economy, but we have not completely recovered from. So if the economy had been growing at the official rate of 6-7%, then we should have been at least 12-13% higher than where we are today. So there's a setback from that point of view also. Then as a result of cronyism, the business environment is not very good. That's why private investment has not risen very high. Some favored businessmen are getting, projects, etc. They're acquiring other profitable ventures, So the high net worth individuals are leaving the country. So last year, 6,000-7,000 of them left. Between 2014 and 2019, the data had come that about 30,000 ultra high net worth individuals had left. So the business climate is not very good. So the investment is not recovering, the private investment. And the government investment is going in the capital intensive areas, not the labor intensive areas. So that is not able to generate enough employment. So that's why the unemployment problem remains very high. So if you look at it, the economy is suffering from the external side on balance of payment, exports issue. And then internally, the rate of growth is quite low. The inflation is higher than what is good for the economy. Then investment is not very buoyant, especially the private sector investment. And the business climate is not right. So the economy has become very politically and economically and socially very unstable because of all these factors.
Professor Arun Kumar, everyone talks about unemployment in impact, but employment never emerges. Is in environment and water is the reasons behind this?
So you see, unemployment is only one of the factors. So you can say broadly economic factors, because there's inflation, there's unemployment, there's loss of purchasing power of the unorganized sector. The farmers are unhappy because they're not getting remunerative prices. And in 2003 survey itself, 40% farmers said that they want to leave farming because, as they say in Hindi, ye ghate ka sauda hai. There's no profit to be made out of it. So given all these economic problems, what we need to look at is that when people vote, they vote for economic, political and social reasons. And sometimes the political and social reasons are more important than the economic.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that economic factors don't come into play, like when onion prices rise, very rapidly, then, governments have lost power,
Yeah.
So economic factors matter, but political and social factors tend to be more important. Now, what's happening is that the political and the social factors, there's a communal divide that is taking place. Governments then play the short-term politics. They'll give something today, not considering the long-term and the benefits that should be there to the public. So therefore, there's a diversion from the economic issues to the political and social. So the unemployment problem is acute, especially for women. It is acute for the youth from 15 to 29, where the unemployment levels are very high.
Yeah.
But you can divert their attention by creating some emotional issue, like the Pakistan issue or the other Hindu-Muslim communal divide. Things like that you can do. And I give you the example of demonetization, which hurt the poor very badly, which hurt the middle classes also. Many people died in the queue. Then many people also had to postpone weddings, could not get their patients, family members, health facilities. In spite of that, the idea that the black money of the rich people will come out, even though that didn't happen, but that became the politically important issue, right? So political issues can trump the economic issues. And then we've had poverty for such a long time. Poor people are used to tolerating their poverty.
Yeah.
So unless they're mobilized politically by the opposition, they're not going to rise up on their own. So like we saw between 2012 and 14, BJP was out in the streets every day on the issue of inflation, corruption, policy paralysis, India's weak economic situation, macroeconomic situation. So on those they campaigned, but now you don't see that kind of campaigning by the opposition, because the opposition is scared now. What's happened is that the ED raid, the income tax raid, the CBI, the political leaders have got scared. They're not coming out openly and challenging the government.
Yeah. Professor Arun Kumar, my closing question to you is that after tomato, how will we get relief from the rising prices of onion?
So you see, onion prices and tomato prices, there are seasonal factors. Sometimes there's a drought because of which the crop comes down. Sometimes there is a excess rain which affects the vegetable crop, which affects the onion crop, etc. So recently we've seen tomato prices rising very strongly because of excess rain. Also there was a heat wave, rather shortfall of rainfall in the month of August, So various factors are there which are affecting. So we see that, for instance, paddy prices, we see wheat prices, they're rising. Even though the government is saying that we've had record production. But agriculture experts doubt. They say that because of the heat in 2022 March, our wheat crop was less than what the government is saying. Similarly, paddy crop got delayed. So the paddy production also is less than what the government claims. So the problem is data. The government is not giving us the correct data in terms of growth, in terms of investment, in terms of unorganized sector and so on. And in the Prime Minister's Advisory Council, the chief there and other members, they are themselves saying that our data is incorrect. So if the data is incorrect, then of course the planning will go wrong. We'll not be able to plan. So we need to have the correct data. The government must move to provide the correct data, otherwise its own planning will go wrong and then we'll not be able to control. RBI cannot control prices of onion or tomato because there's supply side shocks. They cannot control wheat and paddy prices because there's supply side shocks. They can only act on the demand side. And demand is not the problem, it's the supply which is the problem. That's why RBI's policies are not able to help us achieve this. So what is required is government policy, the fiscal policies. And what kind of fiscal policies? Policies that will support agriculture, because farmers are saying we are not getting enough income. So if they get proper income, then the production will be more stable. Then you need supplies, to storage, etc. So that when there's excess, you can store it, and when there's a shortfall, you can supply it. So you have to anticipate all this. So it's government policies, it's fiscal policies that are crucial for this kind of price rise in the country.
Professor Arun Kumar, thank you so much for taking out time from Number 1 India News.
Thank you very much.